Hello everybody, it is me, Bluebells5529 here, and today we're going to do another showcase video. This time it is on another Thomas model. This is MK2 of my Railway Series Thomas model. The body shell obviously came from Sparkshot Custom Creations. This is the Freelance E2X. This is the version 1 version, and I'll tell you why I bought the version 1 and why I made another one of these. Okay, now the first Railway Series Thomas I ever made was made using a Hornby 060 chassis. I didn't really like that, especially because at the back it had the bounce. This came from the Hornby Railroad Genty, and it doesn't have the bounce. So you can still do this type of chassis though if you just don't have one with a bounce. Because the one I used had the bounce and it just looked awkward and it overheated. And I'm not sure, I don't think it overheating had to do with the bounce, but I didn't want to keep replacing chassis. So this one has a different chassis. This is using the Bachmann branch line Genty chassis, and I got one used for a very cheap price, which I'm glad by. I'm glad I didn't go around buying the brand new Bachmann Genty. So yeah, this is the older version. As you can see, I didn't have to cut any boiler piece. Well, I had to file down the boiler piece a little bit to fit the motor, but you can barely tell. As you can see here, I actually had to cut off both ends of the Bachmann Genty chassis, and I had to stack up some styrene, if you can see that there. I'm not sure if you can see that, but yeah, right there, you can see I had to stack up some styrene so it didn't get in contact with the shell itself, which is a problem I had with the 060 chassis. But either chassis you can use. It's just I didn't want to go keep buying an 060 chassis just to make my Thomas happy. So yeah. Now for the look of it. You're probably wondering why I'm going with the V1 instead of the V2. Well, that is because I wanted a model that represented both Reverend's model and the Thomas that was illustrated in the book Thomas and Victoria, because for some reason I really liked that type of Thomas look. And the illustrations in Christopher Audrey's stories in general I just loved. So that's why I based it on both that and Reverend's. Another thing was I didn't want an extra window, for obvious reasons. And also, I don't know if Thomas's driving fireman could actually see out of that window, per se. I know it could help with visibility, but that small little window, I don't know if that could actually help. To me, if Thomas was real, it would probably be unlikely he would actually have that extra window. And also, I heard in the early illustrations, Thomas didn't actually have that small window. It was actually lining at first, and then it was re-illustrated to have that extra window. So these brake pipes came from a old broken 14XX, and the hook came from, I can't remember actually. It's a really realistic coupler. It probably came from one of the Bachmann branch. Actually no, Z Mark Anthony gave me this Bachmann branch line pack, this like detailing pack, and I used the hook for that on there. Not on the back, because you can barely see the back. This came off of the Bachmann Genty, I believe, that hook. The buffer beam, I did not have to, it's in scale with the others. Like if I put my Bachmann Genty back together, you can see that Thomas fits pretty well with them. And that wasn't hard to do, which I'm glad by, because with the 060 Hornby chassis, it actually took a bit of time to fit it on. Now as you can see here, I didn't add the, you can still see the holes, I didn't add the railings yet. I'm not sure if I want to or not, because I do not remember Thomas ever having those hand railings in the Christopher Audrey stories. I didn't add them on here either, because again I didn't see them on the illustrations, so that's why they're not on there. I could put them on there easily if I wanted to. And the cab doors, my original one didn't have cab doors, and when I took them off of the shell piece here, they were very thin and I accidentally broke them off. So these cab windows are made out of brass sheeting, which is a step up, if you think about it. The whistle here is from a broken 4F. Everything else is practically a paint job. Oh, and another difference between this one and the Freeland and the V2 is because the filler caps, I believe, are on different angles. It's on the V2, I believe it's on here, but on this one's on here, which I don't mind. Overall, I'm quite pleased on how this turned out. I always love doing these custom creations. And there's no coal in it yet. In fact, you can actually see some primer from when it was being primed. I might add some real coal in there later. Gold for the windows, which looks nice. Brass on the top here, because on the Evans models, I saw a lot of models having brass tips on the funnels, and it grew on me. So that's why I added it on to my Thomas. Alright, let's see this running. So as you can tell here, it runs very smoothly. A lot smoother than the original model that I made. Overall, I'm quite happy that I took a second go at this, because I was not really pleased with my original one. I was happy with James, I was happy with Edward, but I was never really happy with Thomas. So I decided to take another crack at this. Here's a size comparison with a Bachmann Thomas and the Sparkshot Thomas. Now as you can see here, the Sparkshot Thomas towers over the regular Bachmann Thomas, but if the E2s were revamped, they would look like this, with bigger tanks and a bigger coal bunker to have more coal and water so they can live longer. And here is a size comparison with Edward and James. Both are Sparkshot custom creations. As you can see, Edward's buffers are still a little big, and I kept trying to fix it up and it still ended up being the same. I might actually go back and take some styrene and make his buffer a little longer down and make the buffers in line that way. Not sure yet. Overall, these are all 3 custom Sparkshot creations. I am very happy by all of them. And if you guys want to make models like these, by all means look at Sparkshot's custom creations. He does very good Sparkshot models. I believe he's also working on a Trojan model, which I can't wait to see. So yeah, thank you for watching. This is me, Bluebells5529, signing out and saying goodbye, and have a good day.